Well, it's been 2 weeks. Let's see what we can do with this, shall we?
It's a fucking intro. It's a fucking intro. I'm doing this temporarily until I press a new intro scene. It's a fucking intro. It's a fucking intro. It's a fucking intro. Now on to the main show.
Now, before we start making the pastry, I fucked up. I mentioned it in the last video, well, in the description, but I don't know if everyone reads that. So, I fucked up. I forgot an ingredient. I forgot to add the currants. And I found that out the next day when I edited the video after making that shit. So I fixed that, I put the currants in. And it's now been 2 weeks. So, today we're going to make the pastry and the pie. Of course, there's a problem with the old style recipes from the 1800s, and that's the instructions when it comes to the oven. In modern terms, we have the means to control the temperature of the oven, and we do it in a very efficient way. 1890, not so much. So all it says is stick it in the oven for 25 minutes. So I'm going to preheat my oven to 200 degrees. Because I've got a fan oven. If you don't have a fan oven, stick it to 220. That should do it. If you're following along for this one, that is. Right. Let's get on with this, shall we? So this is Black's mince pies. This is the pastry section, that's the mincemeat. We've already covered the mincemeat. So it calls for a pound of flour, 3/4 pound of butter, an egg, and a teaspoonful of lemon juice. We're going to do that. Probably halving the recipe. We have to mincemeat, but we'll see. And it tells us to do it like the rough puff paste, which she has in here somewhere, a few pages back. And the way the rough puff paste tells me is to do it by putting flour and butter on the table with a knife, roll the butter among the flour, then chop the butter up into pieces about 1/2 inch large. Mix the egg, lemon juice and little water together, and with this make up the flour and butter in a firm piece of paste. We're not doing that. We're using modern technology. We're using food processor. Okay, let's get to this, shall we? What are you up to, boy? Tyson over there trying to steal my kindling from the fire. So, we need a couple of things beyond that. We need scales. Oh, apparently I put this away wet. That's fine. I always have a backup. We need scales. And I've got a digital scale here. It's going to measure in metric, which is nice, proper and fine. And we have some plain flour. So we're going to need let's see, it said a pound here, which is about roughly 500 grams. Roughly 500 grams. Are we going to half this? We have the mincemeat, so we may as well half the pastry, yeah? Can always make more if I need to. So 250 grams of pastry, of flour. That's what we're going to have here. It doesn't have to be strong flour, we're not caring about the gluten. It's not a bread. Puppy, what are you up to? What are you chewing over there? So we're going with roughly 250. half. I'm going to stick it in our food processor right here. Right, okay, and we're going to want some butter. Now I have butter, and if I'd thought ahead, I'd have brought it out, warmed it up and stuff. So, hello dog. Come here. Come here. Come up. No? You don't want to come up and say hello? You just want to nudge my hand so I have to wash it. I'm trying to record a video here, boy. You want to say hello to the camera? No? Okay. Well, I'm going to wash my hands now. But we're talking roughly 500 grams, give or take. It's actually closer to 454, something like that. But for our case, we're wanting 3/4 of that, so 500 is easier. Because a half is 5 of that is 250. Half that is 125. So we're wanting 375 gram wise of butter. And I've got a nice big block of good Scottish unsalted butter. Yes, dog. There's nothing here for you. Go back to playing with your treats. So 375. This is a 500 gram, 250 block. Oh, seems a bit much. Of course, we're halving. We're halving. No, the recipe calls for 350, 375. We're wanting half of that, so that is roughly 150. That gets us up to 300. Then 75. Half that is about 37. So 187. So about that much. Ugh. Oh good, it turned off. This should be about 187. No it's not, it's nowhere near, it's 124. Close enough, 182. So you want 187 roughly for butter. And then we're going to want in there our egg and lemon juice. So we're going to want that in there. I should probably cut that down into half again. One, two, there we go. And if we follow the rough pastry side of things, it does say to do this by putting flour butter, roll it into butter into flour amongst the flour, mix the egg, lemon juice and a little water together, and with this make up the flour and butter into a firm piece of paste. So we're wanting the yolk of the egg for this, not the egg whites, we want the yolk of the egg. I happen to have an egg right here. One egg. There's an easier way and a less messy way if you don't like the touch of egg. Fair enough, I can't be fucked, so I just do it the easiest way. Slip the white through your fingers and you get the egg. So this is going to go into this one to be mixed with a little water and lemon juice. I should have been more prepared. We need egg yolk, lemon juice, freshly squeezed, and we need a little bit of water apparently to make this up. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a teaspoonful of lemon juice into here to mix in together with a little touch of water. Probably another teaspoonful to be honest. Where are measuring spoons? A teaspoonful is roughly 5 milliliters. And it just says a little bit of water. So I'm just going to put in 5 mils of water, because apparently we never measure water, and we want to beat this up. To mix in with the flour and the butter, which I really should have chopped up into smaller pieces, but it's a food processor so it doesn't matter. I mean, that can go in. Put the lid on. Find where my bit is that stops that from fluffing up and from going up in there. And we make the pastry. It's going to be noisy, so I'm going to cut it now and come back when it's done. So, this mess is important. It's flour. Yeah, you want a floured surface when you're going to roll flour. Make sure to flour your instrument as well, of choice, your rolling pin. A little bit over there. And what we're going to do is basically we're going to roll this across the surface, the floured surface, thinly. And turn, and you just really want to do this in one direction. You want it really thin, so if it breaks, it breaks. If it does that, it does that. Fucking pastry. Sprinkle a little bit more on top. Basically, you want it really fucking thin. Preferably not doing this. This is great on camera, where it breaks. But errors come in. That should be thin enough for me to start cutting out some soicles. Ta-da! She did say to butter your tins. But you didn't have throwaway aluminium foil. I do. I'm hoping I have a cutter that fits this. It's my biggest cutter. That's not gonna work. I have to do it like this. I need a blunt knife for this. What I'll do, use the back of the knife, is just go around this. And that'll help me cut one of these to size, I hope. He says. And there we go. Now, she did say butter it. We don't have to do that with these. They're throwaway. They'll peel off, so you don't really need to do it with them. Let's see if that was enough to get a decent size in. Nope. Okay. fuck up. That's fine, we keep the fuck ups in. So what I'm going to do instead is these were meant to be small tins, by the way, when I bought them. Not this size of tin. They were not meant to be this massive. Come, pastry, come. God, this is soft stuff. Need to be very careful with this pastry because it is very fragile, very soft, and I've rolled it very thin. But that's easy enough to fix. Let it stretch. I can fix that. Maybe not as much as I'd hoped, but I can fix holes in pastry. Holes in pastry are not a problem. It's just really thin. I didn't quite get it right for size, but you can always fix pastry holes by adding in more pastry. Although this shit is making it really difficult. Get in there, stick, you piece of shit. Well, we're getting one at least. This thing's going to be ugly if someone takes it out the casing. But, you know what? I don't care. I don't care. This is a really delicate pastry. Holy shit. This is ridiculous. I might have rolled it a bit too thin, but you're meant to roll it about 5mm thin. Just stick in there, you piece of shit. Just accept. Become one with the pie. Become one with the pie. There we go. Now, it does say to wet your pie edges. Then fill in with your mincemeat stuffing. We got one! Woohoo! We got one that Disney seemed to have cracks at last. So now we can fill that one in. I'm going to get back to you. We'll cut and I'll hopefully have several. For the purposes of this video, and because this pastry is so light and finicky, I've just made 3 for the video. I'll make more later. Now, here we go. Proof for the pudding. The mincemeat stuffing. I probably shouldn't have used as much liquid last time. Although it didn't tell me how much, so it's a guess for anyone. So, we're going to start filling her up. And we'll see how it goes. Come here, you. There we go. It's looking nice. There we go. So that's what it looks like. I'll bring it closer to the camera in a second once I finish filling these up. So fill in your mincemeat stuffing. Into your pies. These are really deep fill and big. They're bigger than I wanted. I wanted an individual pie, but this will do. This will do. Just as long as we get it all in there for baking. Oop, bit much, but that's fine. Just level it off, make sure it's full. Make sure you got a nice level in there. There we go. Good stuff, good stuff. There we go, that's what it looks like with the mincemeat stuffing inside. Remember, these are not vegetarian, aside from the butter and pastry and the egg. The suet is beef fat, so there is beef fat in there. Now, she tells me, wet the paste around the edges, fill this with mincemeat. I should have wet my edges, apparently. So here we go. Wetting my edges. And that'll make the round stick a lot easier to the pie. Of course, hers would have been amazing, I imagine, considering she was the head teacher of a school, a cookery school in Glasgow before she wrote this. Edges wet. Now, make a small cut in the centre of a round of paste and put it on the lid. Oh, as a lid. I've already made my cuts. Kinda. And we're just gonna... Well, we're not crimping. We're just matching the edges. Smooshing them together so they work as an edge. Hopefully with no breaks. There we go, there's one. Because this pastry turned out to be a pain in the arse. That we are combining to get these edges in there, hopefully with no breaks. Like I said, any breaks, pastry is soft enough, but you can always just, I don't know, grab another piece of pastry, stick it in there, kinda. Yeah, no one will mind if it's ugly, right? And again, just smoosh the edges. If you feel that you can get fancy and crimp it, do. Don't get me wrong, I'm not crimping. I don't trust the ability and the strength, the tensile strength of this pastry to handle a good crimp. Well, I guess I am technically crimping this one. But there we go. What else do I do now? Beat the egg white a little. So the egg white, and we're just going to brush that on with an egg wash and then sift it with some fine sugar. So now, fine sugar, she means caster sugar, or super fine, I think that is called in the States. And then put them in the oven for about 20 minutes and serve hot. And that's what we'll do. Oh, hello, escapee mincemeat. Sticky. So here's my pies. We're going to do a little siftaroonie. And I don't know, should I put a wee Christmas decoration on there? You know what, I will. Give me a second to roll one out. Not as perfect as I'd hoped, but fuck it. You know what I forgot to do, don't you? I forgot to do the egg wash. What a numpty. What a numpty. Now normally an egg wash is a little bit of water and the yolk mixed together. So having it be the egg white is unusual. Fuck it. I've put caster sugar on there already, but fuck it. If anything, that'll be worse. Oh dear, that was a bad choice. Oh, that was a bad choice. Oh, that was stupid. Why did I have to be that stupid? There we go, fuck it. Caster sugar's on, caster sugar's on. This just doesn't. Great. And now we're going to stick it in the oven for 20 minutes and I come back when it's done and I've tidied everything up, hopefully. Well, we got 5 pies. 5 pies. Not too bad. So, I normally would have someone here to help taste test, but my friend forgot that he agreed to this. So I'm going to taste test. Set to serve warm. These, still warm. These two are just out the oven, so I'm not touching them. But that's still warm. We'll test this one. So we ran into a little problem taking that out the tin. It came out alright. It's not what it's meant to look like when it comes out the tin. But that's okay. That's okay. I'm going to eat it anyway. Okay. Disaster aside, the colouring has come out nicely in the cooking, and that's probably the suet mixing with the juices of the currants and the raisins. Would have been nice to be able to bite and hold, but fair enough, we'll do it this way. Not getting the nutmeg as much as I thought I would. It smells lovely. The sweetness is definitely there. But it's not overpowering. The undercurrent of the lemon's there, but it's cutting through the sweetness. It's hard to detect. The pastry, it's a bit bland. Probably use a bit more butter. But it's fine. Does the job. Crunches where it needs to. The apple, it's there, it's adding its thing, it's texture wise. Overall, that isn't bad. As a filling, that is probably one of the nicer fillings for a mince pie. Because it's not overly sugared. It's not heavily sweetened by sugar. It's more the raisins and the currants that are coming out of it, sugar wise. Now, that's a wonderful mince pie. I don't know what I'd do to change anything on that. Maybe add in some alcohol, a little touch of rum, A touch more nutmeg maybe. Actually no, it doesn't need more nutmeg. Yeah, I'd probably use brown sugar instead of white, and add in a touch of dark rum. That's what I do to improve this. And the pastry, I don't know what I'd do with the pastry. It does the job, but I don't know. Pastry, it's okay. It's fine. But yeah, this is quite nice. This mincemeat filling, I wouldn't use as much liquid as I did. I just used what I squeezed out the lemons instead. But overall, that's a very nice mincemeat filling for a pie. I am very pleased with that. Not so pleased with the strength and tensileness of the diva that was the pastry, but otherwise, very tasty. Serve this warm with custard, be a winner. Okay, let's see what Tyson thinks. Well, he doesn't care, he's not getting any because there's stuff in here that will kill him. But yeah, that's not bad. Now, I said I'd going to do a meal type Christmas special, but I'm not. I had card issues. So that's going to cost me, so I can't do that. So instead, we'll spin the wheel. That's right, I've got a wheel of things to see what we get next month. Give me a second. Here's the wheel. Spin the wheel. What are we going to do? Ooh! Booze. We're going to do booze next month. That'll be fun. What do you think, boy? Whoa, that's too much of a close-up. What do you think? Yeah, not bad, huh? Not bad. Oh, you're a good boy. I'll get you a treat. Yes, you'll get a treat, but not this. Good boy.